Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Pokemon trainers, and Pokemon fans everywhere. Today, we're taking a look at Recycle Crozma, or Recycle Necrozma. Yeah, this is an interesting deck. It's one of those non-GX decks that's just really annoying to play against because your opponent's going to be dishing out GX level damage, not tag team GX, but GX level damage with basic non-GX Pokemon, especially this Necrozma right here. So let's take a dive into this and see what this deck is all about. I made this video because I saw a couple of these videos out there. I don't think there's too much gameplay on this yet, so let's try to do this deck profile, try to do some games, and then see how good this works out for us, and see if we can make any other changes to it. So I did play one game with this. It was relatively easy to play this deck. I was faced into a Tina Chomp Mally, so Giratina Malamar deck, and we won. So it's looking good so far. So let's get into this here. Starting off, as always, with our Pokemon lineup. Our main attacker for this deck, Necrozma, basic Necrozma, psychic type, 130 HP. Barrier attack for 2 standard energies does 30 damage. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks after applying weakness and resistance. So, this Pokemon, with 2 stars, he can do 30 damage, and he will take 30 less damage. That's not what we're really interested in. We are interested in his special laser. For 2 psychic energies and a standard, he does 100 plus damage, and that plus depends on if this Pokemon has any special energy attached to it or not. If it does, this attack does 60 more damage. So we can do 160 damage total with this Necrozma. That's crazy. That's crazy, right? If he dies, you only lose 1 prize card, so you can do 6 of him? Question mark? Okay, never mind. But we're not doing 6, so we're doing 4. Because you can only have 4 of any card in your deck. Genius. Okay, so 4 of Necrozmas as your basic main attackers, and if they die, if you really want, oh, I don't think there's any cards like Rescue Stretcher except Brock's, right? So if you really want to run just 6 of him, that is the way to go. Just pick him back up from your discard pile, shuffle him back into your deck, and hopefully you can call him out with Pokecoms or something. I don't know. There's ways to do it. Just having 6 of him would be OP though, because the Recycle Energy that we're gonna run is basically gonna come back into your hand instead of the discard. So you'll always be able to get that nice 160 damage with him. Okay, so enough of the Necrozma. Our secondary attacker also can become our primary in certain cases, is our Giratina. Because Necrozma has a double psychic weakness, if you're playing into a psychic deck, this is where Giratina becomes your primary attacker. 130 HP, we already know this Pokemon. Distortion Door, if he goes into your discard, you can click on the discard pile, bring him back onto your bench, provided you have the bench space, and then put 1 damage counter, 1 each, on 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. You can't spam the damage counter twice for 20 damage onto 1 Pokemon, okay? Shadow Impact for 2 Psychic and 1 Colorless. You do 130 damage, and you put 4 damage counters on one of your Pokemon. If you run him with Spell Tag, you're probably going to be hitting him. But if you're running with Spell Tag and you use your primary attacker, then you probably want to hit something else, right? Because, you know, if they're not able to do 130 damage, you get 2 attacks before he dies, and then comes back from the grave. Okay, so Giratina with Distortion Door. 2 of them. I think that's enough for this deck. 1 Espurr. We already discussed this in our Mucky Mew deck, I think. Yeah, Bench Snipe. 20 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon for each damage counter on that Pokemon. So something's low, you need a quick Bench Snipe. Here's your guy. Charge him up with your Malamars. Inkay Malamar, I'm not going to explain this tech again. You just pick up energies from your discard and put it on your Pokemon. That's all I'm going to say about that. Jirachi, also standard Jirachi Escape Board. Grab your trainer cards every turn. That's what you want to do with him. Play him first if you can, right? Get more trainer cards. Dedenne-GX Dedenne Change, that's what everyone's playing him for. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may discard your hand and draw 6 cards. You can't use more than 1 Dedenne Change ability each turn, so yeah, slap him down, draw 6 cards, only if you have to. only if you have to. If you have to, you know, like, I know this deck only has one, but I've had games in 2 Dedenne decks where I've seen people slap down 2 Dedennes for recharge, and then those are the Pokemon that get custom captured and killed for 2 cards. So, don't throw him down unless you're in a dire situation. That's what he's for. He's the backup raft. Okay, Ditto Prism Star. Basically, for your evolution to Malamar, just 1 more card there extra for some versatility. And then, you know what? He might have to go. He honestly might have to go. Because I've never had an issue running 4/4 on the Malamar Inkay setup and then getting at least how many ever I need of those, which is usually 2 and not 3. So this card questionable for me. Adventure Bag lets you draw your escape boards, lets you draw your spell tags. You know, he might have to go for a spell tag here. Either that or 1 more Shrine of Punishment. I like this card. I really do. It's fun when you play non-GX decks. It's nice to watch those damage counters pop off 1 by 1 on your opponent's benched GX Pokemon. So those are your 2 suggestions. Maybe we could swap out the Ditto Star for the 1 more Shrine, or Ditto Star for a spell tag. Yeah, looking at it, I don't see any negative consequences. I made this with one of the lists I got off the internet, so that's why, as I said, we're going to be modifying this. So yeah, Ditto Prism Star for a Shrine. It looks really good because Stadium Wars are annoying, and we don't have Lusamine in this deck. So maybe you could just grab a Lusamine supporter instead, and be able to reshuffle any supporter cards or stadium cards. You know what? That's probably what we're going to end up doing. Minus the Ditto, plus the Lusamine. I like Lusamine a lot. Okay. That is, okay, Adventure Bag, Mysterious Treasure. We all know what this does. Running a deck full of primarily psychic attackers. Lets you draw what you want. Lets you set up your Malamar techs. Really useful. You can discard unneeded cards from your hand too, if you want to play Lillie. Reset Stamp. Stamp your opponent. He draws the same amount of cards as his prize cards. Self-explanatory. For a Switch. I guess it's primarily for the Giratina here. Can't think of anything else we would have crazy trouble retreating. If a Malamar gets gusted in this meta, he's probably gonna die. So, for the Necrozmas, well, you can run another Escape Board instead and just have a little bit more versatility. Because if you retreat back, right, with an Escape Board, that's still 2, or a U-Turn Board even. Instead of, you can run the Escape Boards on your Jirachis, and then have a U-Turn Board for your Necrozma, right? And then you could just retreat, lose 1 energy, and then be able to put it right back on him, because you're going to have at least 1 Malamar on your bench. So that's kind of free. 4th Switch may be a little excessive. Probably drop one of these too, and grab one of the other cards that we were talking about. 3 Switch is going to work fine. Most cases, what I've seen, it does. So yeah, I'm going to recommend that. 3 Switch for an extra card here, minus the Ditto, minus 1 Switch for a Shrine or a Lusamine, or both, or a spell tag and a Lusamine. Might be a good combo too. Oh, sorry, we were gonna do the U-Turn Board. So yeah, minus a Switch, plus a U-Turn Board, and a Lusamine. Okay, so I'm doing this on the go here, guys. This is the first time I'm doing a deck analysis for this deck. So if I'm rambling a little bit, please excuse me. Let's move on. Shrine of Punishment. Between turns, put 1 damage counter on your Pokemon GX and Pokemon X, both yours and your opponent's. We don't have any GX cards in this deck except the Dedenne, and if you don't have to play him, then you are gold pretty much. And even if you do and your opponent's running like 3 GX Pokemon, that's still worth for you, right? 30 for 10, 30 for 10 every turn. Yeah. So 2 Shrine of Punishment, make it 3. 2 Viridian Forest, also you can make it 3 here and just run the 2 Shrine of Punishment, I guess. Depending on what we're getting rid of, or just don't add any more stadiums and add the Lusamine. Cynthia. For Cynthia, 1 Erika's Hospitality. If you have 4 or fewer cards in your hand, you can draw a card for each of your opponent's active Pokemon. That's what that does. Pretty good if your opponent has full bench. 2 Lillie, self-explanatory, 2 Escape Board. Spell tags, Psychic Pokemon gets knocked out. You can put 4 10 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. You can spam them, you can stack them, you can split them, up to you. So we are running the 4 spell tag. So -1 switch. Then minus the Ditto too, right? Do our substitutions there. Add the Lusamine. Okay, just so we don't get confused. 2 cards. So Lusamine and what was the other one we were gonna do? Were we gonna do Shrine? No, that would be useless at that point because we have the 4 spell tag. Recycle Energy, we're running 3. Pretty self-explanatory. 4 Necrozmas, 3 Recycle Energy. Get them back into your hand. Put them on 2 of your Necrozmas to get 160, 160. Or if you just, you know, if one of them gets surprised or something, worst case, you still have 2. And then 7 Psychic Energies. Standard would be 8, I guess, but I'm running 1 extra here. That means 1 less Psychic Energy for these Pokemon. And since we're going to be getting them back with our Malamars, the Psychic Energies, I mean, I think we should be fine with this because this comes back into our hand. So this is your attach energy, this is your discard energy. Alright, makes sense? Cool. So yeah, the recommendations are maybe to add the Lusamine for the 59th card, and you have a choice, I would say, between 3 things here. 1 more Psychic Energy is good. Oh, U-Turn Board. U-Turn Board, U-Turn Board. Okay, so Lusamine is for sure, and then we're going to have either the U-Turn Board is the most highly recommended item, and then apart from that, we can just have an extra Giratina or an extra Espurr, depending on, or maybe even an extra Jirachi, instead of the U-Turn Board there. So, depending on how you like to play your game, but yeah, that's Recycle Crozma for you guys, with some suggestions, with some modifications. You can play this in a lot of different ways. It looks really flexible as a deck, and maybe as we play more games with them, we'll upload some more games up here so you guys can see what it looks like, and then make some changes to this deck, you know, like we just did based on our experience with the games. So yeah. Hope you guys like this video. Like and subscribe for more. Keep watching for more fun Pokemon TCG deck builds, gameplays with strategies, and just some commentary. Yeah. Have a good night, good morning, wherever you are. Take it easy and have fun playing Recycle Necrozma.